1.
Hello all and welcome to the Justice Friends blogs. Returning full force, Fuyomama is back, obviously, as I'm the one talking.
Exactly.
And joining us today as a special... Oh, no, here as usual is Andre the Walrus. And
Hello,
along
my
with him
name is Andre the
Mushroom.
Walrus. I am a walrus. I live underwater. And my microphone is actually waterproof, which is how I'm talking right now. And I also speak English, which is kind of weird for a walrus because we have gills and we don't have vocal cords. I am basically a matter of science fiction.
Okay, 1 point, walruses don't have gills. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you about yourself later. Ryan is returning with us as well. And as a special guest, we have a Mr. Big Ouija, or what's your channel name? Audiel Cheesy 123. Is that what it's called?
You guessed it right.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Champion.
You got it right.
Thank you.
And today we will be talking about our thoughts of E3. We did a similar podcast 1 year ago, so this is going to be basically like a 1 year anniversary podcast, more or less, for us.
1 year, impressive work, team. Well done.
Well, we went a year uploading like one video a week, but hey, it's still a year. I'm not complaining. And to start off, we're going to be talking about the first presentation of the E3, known as Microsoft. Ryan, I would like you to give us your opening thoughts on Microsoft's presentation.
Well, anyone who watched it know that it was basically appealing to anyone who has Kinect or anyone who's considering Kinect, because that's what the entire conference was about, essentially. It was just all Kinect stuff, which is okay in my book. I don't have a Kinect, but any casual gamer, use that term, but any casual gamer that wants to have a cool, innovative way to play games or do anything, pretty much, Kinect is your answer. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to change it from only a gaming console to just a full-out entertainment console, and pretty much eradicating the need for like a computer.
Well,
yeah.
There was
just in response to...
A lot of people say that they went overboard with Kinect. I'm going to let you finish, Fui. I'm just going to say one thing real quick. Although, as Ryan said, the Kinect is more for like the casual gamer. I think they went a little bit too casual, and they looked a little bit like Nintendo, as in, for example, the Sesame Street game. Like, really, it's childish.
I love Tim Schafer, and I love Sesame Street, so shut up.
But it was childish.
And I'll be honest,
too casual. If there is a possibility to do that.
But I'm going to play that game with my niece. I'm going to play it with my niece, and
your niece, you're
like
not 5 years old.
What I have to say, is that the average gaming age is growing both in the younger side and the older side. So they're going to have to start creating more games that appeal to both the younger gamers and the older gamers.
But isn't it a little bit too much?
No, you don't have to buy it. It doesn't matter if they... Maybe it might have been a bit of a mistake to advertise at E3 where there were a bunch of really, like, a bunch of gaming addicts, but the game needs to be created, and I guess E3 is a good way to advertise that.
And I mean, it's Ryan makes the good point of E3 is the only gaming event out there that you'll see the New York Times talking about. It's the only event out there. So if Microsoft wants to get themselves out there as a console for everyone, then they're going to do it at E3 with games like Sesame Street, Once Upon a Monster. And going back to that with Ryan, I thought they would show more more in line with, like they've been showing Netflix in past years. They've been showing Facebook, Twitter. No one uses it, but it's out there. I thought they'd show more in terms of like live streaming television off your Xbox, stuff like that, like I did with ESPN.
Right.
They didn't do that, and they did it with Kinect. And I looked at personally, I thought Microsoft, in terms of, they had two choices this year. Oh, sorry, would you have something to say, Ouija?
No, I said you have to understand that it wasn't polished up enough for them to present
that kind of you have to remember E3 is more about what's in the future, what's coming up. Facebook live streaming that has already been addressed prior to
Right.
E3, so there wasn't any need unless there was any new innovation in it. So that's why I see why they didn't
Well,
even
well, I,
bother to even
well, I
mention it.
was Well, what I was wondering was like, I mean, like expanding. I'm not saying like Facebook. Like, oh yeah, we have more features for Facebook. I'm saying like, if I could have a satellite, like if I could get Direct TV or Dish Network off my Xbox, like if they did something big like that, I think that'd be awesome to show because it's like Ryan said, they're trying to create this thing that's not just a gaming console. It's your black box of everything.
But the Kinect and the Xbox 360 are gaming consoles. You can't make a gaming console that's half gaming and half TV shows that you can easily watch by turning your TV on. When I had Xbox Live, my Xbox Live expired a while ago, but when I would get on, Ouija, mute your mic, because we're hearing a lot of background noise.
Well, I'm just telling you, like, but personally for me, maybe it's all about, it's more about what you experience, what you use it.
But like when I had,
and I mean, like with Netflix with me.
Fuya, let me just finish real quick. When I had Xbox Live before it expired, I would get online. Half of the people I saw would be playing games like Call of Duty or Mass Effect, whatever the hell they were playing. But the other half were on Netflix. We're watching ESPN. We're watching a whole bunch of stuff. So Netflix is already become something big on Xbox because you can basically watch movies from there. You can. I think there are some channels you can actually download and watch via Xbox Live and whatnot. But
so there's ESPN, and that's what I'm saying is I thought they would say ESPN would be like the first foot in, and then they would dive in this year, but they didn't. And I understand that. And with Kinect, it was either. I mean, this year if you look at Xbox exclusives, they have none. They have Gears of War. That's really it. So they either said we have 2 hours of Gears of War, have fun. Or they show off Kinect. Because if they want to be successful this year, it's going to have to be off Kinect. Because they have one big title, and that's it. And do they push Kinect? I don't know.
But why didn't they, take the off-road? Why didn't they just surprise everyone, because Nintendo surprised everyone with their titles for Nintendo 3DS, but we're going to get to that in a later podcast. Microsoft... Yeah, those were awesome. But
I don't know about you guys, but I'm the only one that's saying meh on that end.
Well,
sorry,
wait, we're gonna have a different.
I'm saying
I have 3DS.
We're gonna have a podcast directed only for Nintendo, so let's keep it there. As for Microsoft, they could.
Okay, but for Microsoft, I feel it was a good presentation. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yes, they didn't have that many exclusives, but you have to understand, Kinect is a new innovation. It's a new way of looking at games. If you looked at all the other conferences, they all did the exact same thing. They all were in motion. None of them really, in retrospect, did anything new beside motion.
Well, in a weird way,
agree on that.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but in a weird way, it seems like the Wii U was going the opposite direction of that. But that's like you said for another video, another thing. But
yeah.
Beyond that, like with Ouija, I would agree it was entertaining. I was actually entertained. I was never really bored at any point in the presentation. And with what they had, I think they did a good job. But I have to say, out of the three,
Microsoft or
it probably.
No, we're talking about Microsoft.
Back to Microsoft. Sorry.
But one thing that Microsoft could have done, Microsoft could have done something. When they saw that E3 was coming, they were like, "Oh shit, we only have Gears of War 3." They could have easily went and said, "You know what? Let's throw them a curveball. Let's give them something they didn't imagine. Make a new exclusive, maybe. Maybe make a new series that's an Xbox exclusive, because that's what
that's
the
not
Xbox."
Something that's series.
But that's a big problem that interferes with that. If you make a new series, that means you're going from complete scratch where you have no fan base on said game, and so you can't expect anyone to say, "Oh my god,
you wouldn't want
I'm
to
excited."
advertise something like that at E3. It would be received really.
But you gotta see Xbox's main problem is their lack of exclusives. That's why the PS3, in more ways than one, has the upper hand on the Xbox in their gaming library.
Exclusives are exclusive. Okay, but you have to understand, exclusives are one thing. connectivity to being able to connect with other friends and everyone else in your friend list. So let's be honest, there are very, very minimal amount of games that anyone really plays to say, you know what, I'm going to play this by myself. For most games, nowadays, you want friends to play with you. That's the whole experience. Half the experience of the games are built with friends and the connectivity that you're doing with your friends, you know, screaming at each other, talking shit, etc. So, I mean, if you're saying it's an exclusive, okay, but if you can only play with a certain amount of people or by yourself because of the campaign or whatever, that's not much of an attraction to me. And Microsoft went on a point saying that they're getting a lot better with their connectivity. I have better connection than I do on Xbox than I do on PS3. I'm sorry.
No, but that is true.
But no, I mean, not even that, Luigi. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they did not make mention of the fact that, let's be honest, for the month before E3, the PSN was down. Like, a week before E3, the PSN was back running.
Yeah.
I thought Microsoft would do, like, a little jab, like...
It's kind of
to be honest, I respected
So-
Microsoft for not making a jab. I think they wanted them to basically make themselves get out of that gutter. Like, they didn't want to stoop down low and say, you know what, our shit has gone down. What now, bitches? I mean, they could have. And I respect them more for
it. But then it goes back to the fact that Microsoft going into E3 had really nothing to show off, which is why they went to their plan B, which was Kinect.
Andre, but you have to understand that video games are not something you can slap together in 2 months. There can't be like, oh, E3's off, better make 5 new exclusives. Like, no, I mean, they have to sit there. Even approving a title, even saying, we're going to make a game, still takes a few months to happen.
Of course, but they still...
Exactly. And then you also have to promote those new games. No one's they can't throw a curveball like you say. Like, if you don't mention anything to anyone and then say, here's a new exclusive, you might get mixed reviews. See, for Gears of War, for Infamous, they had some little teasers, something that people can look at and say, that might be at E3.
Going into E3, they didn't, which left them what to show at E3? Connect the Bulls, shit games for Connect, because Connect does not have a good library of games.
Well,
they did announce a shooter game solely for Connect, which I can't remember the name right now. That could be interesting.
Ghost Recon?
No, not Ghost Recon.
Wasn't it Raid?
What?
I think it was called Rage, I think.
No, it's
I think it's like Ryst. Like RYST or something like that.
It's a shooter game directly for Kinect, exclusive to Kinect. That is interesting. They did not show that at E3. That could have been interesting. Maybe substituting one of those kid things. Because, come on, when I saw Microsoft's press conference and I saw those kids playing Kinect going like, oh my god, this is so much fun, I love this.
But you have to understand what they want to do at this point is, I think that we are at the point in our generation of consoles that it has been longer than any previous generation. We have had more years with the Xbox and the PS3 and the Wii than we have ever had with any other console. And after a while, they're going to reach a point where everyone that wants to get a hardcore gaming console is either going to have an Xbox or a PS3. They're not going to sell units. So what do? They have to sit there and they have to try to find a new market, and I think that's what they were trying to do this year. I'm not a business analyst by any stretch of the mind, but what I think they were trying to do was trying to make the Xbox be a console not only for the adults out there, or not adults, but for the older people, but for any group of people. Like, you can play an Xbox game with Kinect with your little kid. You can play it with an old person if you want to. I don't know why, but you can play Sesame Street with your grandma if you would like to.
Come on, Grandma, let's play Sesame Street. Hell yeah.
Microsoft wants to appeal to the biggest portion of the population that they can, so they're advertising it using stuff like Bing, which I don't follow, I prefer Google, but that doesn't matter. They use Bing, they use the Kinect, they use the different games for various age groups, and then they also support the hardcore gamers by showing stuff like Tomb Raider, and then they also added a little bit of nostalgia bomb with the Halo anniversary, and they have stuff for everybody, which is exactly what they want to do.
And that Halo, I want to talk about Halo because that came off as a little bit ignored when a lot of people were talking about Microsoft's press conference. One, maybe because it was leaked hours before their conference. I don't know if you guys heard, but Halo 4 was...
it was on their website.
Yeah.
In case you guys did, especially this is more to the viewers, basically on Microsoft's website, the hour before the press conference started, they were like, Halo 4, what? And everyone's like, Halo 4? 4. And everyone, then in the press conference, they were trying to be clever. They're like, oh, we're done. No, wait a second. Here's Halo 4. Everyone's like, we already knew.
And
But,
that was
and
really
I think,
stupid. Whoever did that got their ass fired big time. And I love it.
Yeah, but the thing about Halo 4 that I don't think the reason why people talk about it is, one, I think it was guaranteed. I think everyone knew Bungie was done with Halo, but I think that everyone knew Microsoft wasn't done with Halo. It was an eventuality. And, I mean, you can say, oh, there's a cinematic. Yeah, but I didn't see any gameplay. I mean, and I'll be honest, I can't get excited unless I see how the game is going to be made, or how the game's going to be played.
Yeah.
Which is why
But I mean,
Battlefield
we don't need
has
to
an
get
advantage.
excited yet, because it's not coming out for another year and a half.
A thing that Fuyo said is the reason that Battlefield 3 has such an upper hand on Modern Warfare 3, which is something we're going to talk a little later, but I'm just going to touch on it now, that Battlefield 3, all of their teaser trailers and normal trailers have had gameplay only. They were not CGI rendered.
Well, I mean...
Giving them an upper hand, showing...
Well, I mean, but
so
Modern
much
Warfare
confidence.
3 has gameplay shown. That's not it.
And another thing...
So,
of E3,
anyways...
Another thing of E3 that they didn't say at the actual presentation was Minecraft becoming a quote-unquote Xbox exclusive. I think that's a very interesting turn for Xbox.
I very much split on Minecraft. I mean, not Minecraft, but Minecraft on Xbox. I want to see whether or not you're going to have to pay for it again. Because if you do, but if you can carry over your Minecraft account, then I'll play.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play for maybe like 40 minutes and just laugh.
But I
So
don't buy
Minecraft
two
is
of the
80.
same game.
I want to see Minecraft in 1080p. That'll make me giggle. But like, I'll play it for like 40 minutes and I'll be done. I mean, I think you're. I don't know if there's anyone out there who's heard of Minecraft that doesn't already have a PC they could play it on, because Minecraft is a thing that was entirely on the internet. There was no marketing anywhere else. So I don't know if it's going to be a big seller, but I mean, it's interesting, I guess. That's about all.
So yeah, I think we've talked about everything of the Microsoft. Is there anything else you want to add, Ryan? Do you want to add anything?
Not really.
Ouija, want to add anything?
Let's do a quick little roundup.
I might want to add that I would totally play Sesame Street with my grandpa. Just saying. Totally would.
I would, yes. I like my grandpa and like my niece, and I can play with both of them at the same time. It'll be like every generation loves Sesame Street, because it's true. Anyways, beyond that, like, how about we do a little roundup, give it like on a grading scale, because we're all students here, on a scale of A to F. What would you give it, Mr. Ryan?
It was on par with last year's, so I'd give it a B-. Just because, well, it did appeal to an enormous audience, which, I give it an A for accomplishing what they were attempting to do, but for me personally, as a hardcore gamer, I would say it was a B- or a C+, somewhere around there.
I would give it a C+, saying the same things that Ryan said, because I'm more of a hardcore gamer for the Xbox, and I wanted to see more hardcore games, although we did see a good number of games.
Hardcore gamer.
As in Mass Effect 3, Halo 4, and Gears of War 3 and Tomb Raider, but I just think they could have given us a little more, other than what we already knew. Like maybe a surprise, but yeah, I'll give it a C-. I mean C+, sorry.
Okay, and Mr. Ouija?
I'll go ahead and give it a good. I'll give it a good B. I won't give it too low there. As you previously said, I was pretty entertained. I was legitimately interested in everything they did. Whether I will buy it is a totally different story, but I was entertained, kept my attention, I didn't really space out, even with my D. So I'll give them a B.
Yeah, I would agree with Ouija. A B would be migrated well. Mainly because, I mean, it's like Ryan said, they got what they wanted accomplished, and it wasn't all for gamers. And I think that's something we'll have to accept now, and we're in a market where it's not just going to be about us anymore. And I think Microsoft did what they wanted to do well. So,
well, that is the end of the Microsoft podcast. On the next one, we'll be talking about the Sony press conference, and we'll go from there. This has been On to the Walrus, Mushroomjuggler1, Fuyomama, and Big Ouija. We'll see you guys next time.
all right.
Aloha.